Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks so much for tuning in and checking out today's video. I'm back with another helpful resource, hopefully to any of you who are looking to build brand awareness for your product, your service, your personal brand, your book, your gym, whatever it is that you have that you're trying to get publicity for, and to just generally create brand awareness through the media, or even like to build your consumer base. So I'm going to share a handful of tips, maybe 4 or 5 things that you guys can do today and to implement into your marketing strategy to really get this going. And then also I want to invite you to check out my website, which is Keetria.com. There's marketing resources there in regards to small business, entrepreneurship, and then PR. You know, I've been doing a PR thing for a while, so hopefully that'll be helpful. And then before we roll into the video, you know what I'm about to ask. Go ahead and like, share, get ready to comment, subscribe, turn your notification bell, and make sure that you visit your girl every day, or at least when I drop a new video. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the content. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them and let me know, or you can reach out directly to me on my website and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. All right, let's go. All right, y'all, so the first thing that you want to do in regards to making sure that your brand, your product, your service is ready to go when it comes to getting media placement and coverage is to define your publicity objectives. Define what it is that you are looking to accomplish. Are you looking to get media placement to build your press foundation, to let people know that, you know, you have a new product or service? I know for musicians, obviously it is to let people know that they have an album out. Or if it is for an event launch, you want to let your customer base know that your event is getting ready to kick off on a particular day, and that, of course, you want them to come out and support, right? So it could be as simple as that. Just basically knowing your objectives. Why are you launching a PR campaign? Why do you need the publicity? Why is that important? And this is just one of the core things that you want to do when it comes to determine where it is that you're headed and to make adjustments if needed along the way. The core foundation, basically just making sure that you know what your campaign objectives are. Also, make sure that you know who's taking care of what as far as your team, different roles and responsibilities. Maybe you're a team of 3 people. Who's going to be doing the media outreach? Who's doing the coverage as far as like writing the copy and just organizing the interviews and things like that. And also, too, if there's a person who's doing the initial research to figure out what sort of media outlets are we going to target, like just basic roles, just kind of knowing the roles and responsibilities of your team is one of the things that you'll need to have in place when you are putting together like a DIY or an in-house publicity campaign. And then from there, you know, you get into the brand messaging and positioning, which obviously, you know, sometimes if you are familiar with how PR works and specifically within marketing, you'll know that ahead of time. But these are like the core things that you want to make sure that you have in place before you actually get into the official launch of any PR campaign. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the steps. Okay, so the first thing that you definitely need to have in place is to make sure that you are able to identify your audience. Knowing your audience, that is going to help you attract the right customers and client base, and really just being able to pitch your story or your product to those media outlets or those journalists who feature similar stories. Make sure you know and you're aware of who it is that you're catering to, because that is going to determine who you need to reach out to in regards to like media pitching and things like that. Say, for instance, you're an artist, R&B singer. You know, you wouldn't pitch your story to Country Music Times, right? You want to do that research ahead of time so that you know when you're ready to go the types of media outlets you need to target for your particular genre of music. So that's going to be rule number 1, is just the basics, knowing who your target audience is. In addition to that, you're going to know your product. So when you know what your product is, that'll also help you be more specific in who your target audience is, as far as determining how to best get their attention and to really get in front of whatever social media platforms they're on, or blogs or magazines, so that you can create that brand awareness. And another way that you can identify your audience is just doing some good initial research. Just research it. Simple as that. You can also create a customer or client profile. And then there's the good old technology-based social media, in which you can go in and kind of research and compile a list of different client and buyer profiles to really give you an in-depth look on who it is that you're trying to target with your product, brand, or service. So that is step one. Moving into step two, we are talking about one of the most important tools that you will need in order to present your product to a media outlet for potential coverage. And this is going to be your press release, which, a lot of people kind of misinterpret or misunderstand what the press release is, but that is actually just a marketing tool. It is a tool that you need in order to convey your story to who it is you're pitching your product, service, event to. It's just a tool. That's not going to get you the media coverage. That is just a tool that you use in order to gain the interest. And what you want to do with the press release is you really want to, obviously it is, like I said, it's just a tool, but you want to really give an in-depth overview of what it is that you're presenting to create that interest. And a lot of times, all you got to do is think about who is this product for? The who, right? Once you know who it's for, you can incorporate that into your press release. The second thing, know the what. What is it? Like, what is the company doing? What is it that you're doing as an artist? What news are you announcing? You incorporate that into the press release. The why. Why is this important? Look at it from the media person's perspective, the journalist's perspective. Why do I care? Why would they even care to receive your press release in the first place? That's the third W you want to incorporate. And then the when, especially if it is an event, a specific date, make sure that it's newsworthy as far as like timeliness. When is this thing launching? When is your concert? When is the store doing its unveil? When is the pop-up shop? Those things are important to a media outlet because it's first of all, things can be time sensitive, also seasonal. And then you also have to consider the media outlet or the journalist's audience, like who it is that they are actually crafting stories for. You have to make sure that you're hitting the mark, and you have to make sure that it makes sense for them. Sometimes, even in my career as a publicist, especially when I first started PR and publicity, very early on, I would just kind of blast press release out or just pitch, just kind of do like a blind pitching of sending things out everywhere, thinking that, hey, the more people I pitch to, it increases my chances of getting media placement or gaining that awareness. And in actuality, it does the exact opposite because those people don't care. The subject line is trash. The press release is trash. It's not really catering to my audience. It does not serve my needs. So why would I even respond to your pitch? And even further than that, if the press release doesn't align and it does not give me enough interest or create enough interest in me to where I can respond to you like, hey, give me more information about your story or your artist, or give me more information about your new software launch or your event that you guys are kicking off. Like, how can I come and cover the event? If you're not giving me enough in the press release to pique my curiosity, I'm hitting delete. Like, I'm not even interested. So those are just things that you want to be mindful of. I've seen people just kind of create press release for the sake of creating them, just to think that that is going to help gain traction or traffic in some way. And like I said, at the end of the day, you're pretty much just wasting your time and your energy because you have to have a purpose behind why it is you're doing it in the first place. And also, why would that media outlet even care? All right. So like I said, just make sure that you put some thought and consideration into how to craft a press release. And if you need some help doing that, you can also reach out to me, and I'll definitely see if I can lend a hand and just kind of guide you if that is something that you are interested in. All right. So the third step is preparing your pitch. So the pitch is going to incorporate the press release. They're two separate things, but the pitch, that is going to be, this is where you're going to have several key components within that pitch that highlights the relevance of your project, your brand, your service, or whatever it is that you're presenting to the media, and how it aligns with that journalist's or that media outlet's audience. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's relevant. Like I said, I used an example earlier in regards to a R&B artist pitching to a country music magazine. It doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't even align. So you want to make sure that the relevance is there before you start pitching. And this comes when you're actually writing the media pitch. You just kind of go through, do your research, know who it is that you're reaching out to, making sure that you include the relevance, making sure that you also know who you're contacting. Know who you're contacting. I know sometimes it's impossible to have a direct contact, especially if you're a new publicist or somebody who is starting out in your career and you don't have the direct contact to a publication or a news network, that sometimes you can use an info account, or there's different networks that have like a news desk and things like that you can pitch to. But it's best to have like a direct contact. That way you have that relationship, and those people are more likely to actually listen to what it is that you have to present, right? So think about that, like, who it is that you're pitching to. Do you have a relationship with them? How do you address them? All of those things come into play when you think about writing your media pitch. And also an important aspect of that is the compelling angle. What's the newsworthy component of that pitch? Why would I consider it? What is the story? What is the story, and why should I care? Like, that should be one of the biggest questions that you think about when you're reaching out to anybody. Because think about it, if you two are on the other foot and somebody is reaching out to you to pay attention to what it is that they have to say, I mean, if it's not relevant to, your career or who it is that you are, as far as, the things that you're interested in, you're not going to care, right? So storytelling is important. Why is it relevant? And also in the media pitch, be brief as possible. You don't need to have like 3 or 4 paragraphs, a whole book of what it is that your product or service does, the event, who's going to be there and all that other stuff. It needs to create enough interest to get them to respond and to get them to engage with you so that you can provide additional information. So be brief as possible. You don't have to get into like a whole book. All right. The 4th tip that is equally as important as to the previous ones is the media prospecting and outreach. And I know that I briefly touched on this earlier, but when you research your media prospects and the different opportunities that are out there, you don't always have to have a relationship with those people. You can start from scratch. And a lot of people don't understand, or not they don't understand, but a lot of people don't. If you're not familiar with how the PR industry works and the background and how you end up cultivating like a list of your direct contacts, then you wouldn't know this. But you can start from the ground up just by researching those different places online to where you can pitch media targets and really try to create that awareness for your brand by just getting their interest in presenting them your story. And a couple of ways that you can do this is you can subscribe to services like Help a Reporter Out, which is Haro. There's Muckrock, there's Cision, and there's several other places that you can use that will give you like the contact, the type of beats and genres and topics that they cover, similar stories. And it's best to customize your pitch to that specific person or outlet so that they can, tell and just appreciate that you have put some thought and consideration into reaching out to them and just trying to get a couple of minutes of their time so that they can check out what it is that you're sending over. Also, people discount the fact that there's local and regional community publications and online blogs and, smaller publications that cover newsworthy stories from local residents. So that's another thing that you can do, especially if you're an artist. Like, start with the local media first. Or if you're a startup, start with the local media first. Like those event listings and just general feature stories or highlight stories that cover local personalities or local people or local entrepreneurs, athletes, anything that you can think of, that is an excellent resource. There's other things that you can do like blogs, just customize a list of blogs that cater to your category or your client base or your prospective consumer base, the people that you're trying to gain the attention from. Reach out to them. And then there's also social media. Social media is a great way to, generate news and interest for your story. So those are just a few things in regards to the media prospecting and initial outreach part. And then the last step that I want to recommend is just measure and evaluate your campaign. Once you've launched your campaign, once you've started pitching and reaching out to the target media, how are you doing? Like, make sure that you have a thorough follow-up process. Also, I do have a beginner's guide to publicity, pretty much a do-it-yourself in-house, like how to launch an in-house campaign ebook if you're interested. I'll leave a brief description about the ebook down below. And then also you can check it out on my website, which is Keetria.com, for more information on that if you're interested, or if you need some more in-depth help on how to really go about getting publicity for your brand or service. But initially, what you'll want to do is check the progress of how you're moving along. A lot of people forget to follow up. Sending one email or making one phone call is not enough. you need to follow up and see if people are interested. Maybe they didn't get the email. Maybe it went to spam. Maybe it was an old contact. Just make sure that you're really measuring the work that you're putting in, and make adjustments as needed. Hey, the other things that you can do is check the web traffic. Are you getting any web traffic from your press release? Product sales is also important. Social media engagement, new leads. Have you received any new leads or interest from the press release or from the media pitch? Newsletter signups. There's a slew of different things that you can look at, to really see where you are and to just try to leverage any placements or just leverage any interest. People discount the fact that any placements that you get, that's leverage to get another placement or a bigger article. Start small, rinse and repeat, and just see where that takes you. And like I said, if you need any additional guidance or you just want to learn more about how you can get started with your in-house or your do-it-yourself publicity campaign, make sure you check out my ebook. Like I said, it's called A Guide to Do-It-Yourself Publicity, and it's in the description box below, or you can visit my website. And I'm also going to be doing a live stream Q&A pretty soon. So if you're interested in learning more about PR, publicity, or you're just getting started and you're looking to get coverage for your product or your brand, make sure you just let me know in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date as to when that's going to kick off. And then also, I'm going to probably be doing a 2-part series to this to go a little bit more in depth on, preparing for media coverage, making sure that your brand is ready for media coverage, and then just kind of talking about how to create your brand narrative, how to make your story pop, how to make it stand out, and how to get the heads to turn and to look and to see what it is that you have to offer, because I know it's something awesome. All right, so that is today's discussion. I hope it has been of help to you guys. And like I said, make sure that you go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this quick chat. And also, if there's any information that you need, just make sure you just drop me a message in the comments or hit your girl up on the website. All right, you guys have a great and amazing day, and I'll check you in the next video.